I want to welcome you on behalf of the organizing committee of the ESHS Brussels 2022. Thank you for joining us, but mostly I want to thank the organizer of this special event dedicated to early career scholars. And this is due to an initiative from Young Gewina, Gewina being the Belgian-Dutch Society for the History of Science and University. I was approached with their plan of having an event for younger scholars, starting scholars in the community of history of science. And this was neatly connected with another wish from the Early Career Network of the European Society for the History of Science. And on top of that, we welcomed support from the Beckman Center for the History of Chemistry of the Science History Institute. Now, some just technical things. In the room, I want you to identify people that can be resources on where to go, how to find the rooms and so on, though we've made our best to describe and signpost everything. First of all, Hannes van Engeland, Elisabeth Moreau over here, Jip van Bezo over there, and then Maxine Pop, one of our interns. And I think with that, I've identified everyone that can be of help on these coming days. Now, it is my utmost pleasure to leave the word to the three speakers or presenters or moderators, you name them, and I will go in reverse. Alexia Coussement for Gewina is going to end the formal part of the event. Before that, you'll have a full description of the ESHS Early Career Network by Alexander Stöger. And it will start with my colleague Charlotte Abney-Salomon, who is going to present you fellowships and activities at the Beckman Center for the History of Science. Thank you.
Thank you, Brigitte. Welcome, everyone. We at the Science History Institute are so happy to have the opportunity to co-sponsor this event. And also, they have generously given us just a few minutes to give basically a short commercial for our program. So just in brief, to tell you a little bit about the Science History Institute and our fellowship program. Does this work? Oh, no. Is it going? No. No, it's not. Is this so? It's not going. Thank you. Wonderful. All right. So at the Science History Institute, which is located in the historic district of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, we have a museum of the history of science. We have a library of the history of chemistry and history of science and related industries. And just to tell you a little bit about our collections, by the latest numbers that I've just looked up, we have 150,000 items in our library. We have 13,000 digitized items online. We have 8,000 rare books and manuscripts, 1.5 miles of archival materials in the history of science, and 1,200 oral histories in our collections. To say a quick word about our digital collections, which are accessible from anywhere in the world. You can search them at digital.sciencehistory.org. And as you can see by these numbers, one of the key benefits of our digital collections is that the vast majority are free and available for publication in high-res images that you can just access on our website without having to worry about permissions or fees. To say a few words about the Beckman Center Fellowships, which I am in charge of. We have fellowships for anyone at any stage of study or career who wishes to come to Philadelphia to our collections and use any of our materials. We have 4 types of research fellowships. We have 1-year postdoctoral fellowships, 9-month dissertation fellowships for those who are in Ph.D. candidacy. We have short-term fellowships of 1 to 4 months, which you can apply for 1, 2, 3, or 4 months, open to anyone at any stage. And we have distinguished fellowships, 4 months apiece, for those in more advanced stages of their careers who also serve in a mentorship capacity to the early career scholars in our cohorts. We've also just introduced curatorial fellowships, which these are 2-year fellowships. Unfortunately, these are only open for legal reasons to those with work permission for the United States. But these are 2-year staff positions for those interested in transitioning out of academia and into either libraries or museums. More information about all of our fellowships is available at sciencehistory.org/fellowships. We will open applications for the next cycle on October 15th. Those applications will close on January 15th. And finally, you can follow the Institute on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, or Facebook at scihistory.org. And with that, I will hand it over to my colleague from the Early Career Network, and thank you very much.
So, yes, thanks for having you. I'm here as one of the representatives of the Early Career Network of the ESHS. And in the next couple of minutes, I want to introduce to you what is the ECN, the Early Career Network, what is it doing, what is it supposed to do in the future. And I also want to talk to you about elections that we will have next couple of weeks and where all of you can participate in one way or another. So starting with the Early Career Network, the Early Career Network is meant as a loose network who does not have formal memberships, but should reflect how early careers in their stages work, how their work looks like. So being flexible most of the time, which can be a good thing or a bad thing. And just to give you an idea what is early career, what is meant, we define early career from undergraduate students in the history of sciences or peripheral fields to postdocs that had a maximum of 7 years academic non-permanent contracts. So it's quite a broad range. And the idea behind this network is to find people who want to volunteer, building a group, building a literal network of connections for early career fellows in the history of sciences throughout Europe. And what we thought about this network is to work in project stages rather than in hierarchical structures or stuff like that, which means that we have several ideas what we can do, starting, for example, a mentoring program in cooperation with Centaurus, the ESHS journal, having newsletter networks, having Twitter where we inform early career scholars about job opportunities or events, and eventually also having conferences. And I'm starting with a brief history, very brief history. So the idea started in 2018 to have an early career network. And from this arose the first conference in 2019 in Paris, which some of you probably attended. And And from there on, we decided to have early career conferences every other year. So alternating with the ESHS conferences. And these early career conferences are organized by early career scholars, volunteers who come up every other year. So it's not like we have a committee that does it every year, but we want to find volunteers who want to try out this experience, who want to gain experience, get to know each other, and decide on one international big conference. And as you can see, we were successful having the second one even during the pandemic. Unfortunately, it had to be online, but it was still a fantastic event. And the next one is due next year. I at least don't know where it is yet. And so we will go on doing that. And a really important part of that will be the elections. Come to that in a second. But if you want to volunteer, if you want to be part of an organization committee for the conference, if you want to volunteer working on social media for the ECN, or if you have another idea that I've not mentioned yet and you think it's important, it's useful, you can contact us. You can talk to us in the next couple of minutes in the network, and you will also find our email addresses and Twitter accounts later on. We're open for that, and we're absolutely happy to have volunteers who want to do something. And as I said, it's always related to projects. So you're not committing to years, you're committing, if you want to a specific project that you yourself can decide on putting up and finding others to work with. So this year is technically not an early career year conference, but we will have elections this year because the ESHS board will have an official representative of the ECN by the end of this conference. And we will have one of these representatives, or to be precise, 2 representatives to send to cooperate with the board. For that, we need elections. We did that last year as well. And the 2 who were elected, Miguel Sorge and Monique Palma, Monique will be here later on, did a great job in advertising and working with the board on that. And these 2 positions will now go to 2 new candidates. So the elections, just to give you a brief insight, will be held in the next couple of weeks. You do not have to copy that or memorize it. We will send you an email in the next 2 to 3 hours where you get all the information, where you also get the email addresses if you want to contact us afterwards or even during the conference and you prefer to write an email. But I still want to introduce to you how this works in general. So if you want to candidate for one of the 2 positions as a representative, you can do so by answering the email you get. You add your name, your affiliation if you have one, and a brief description of yourself, what you're doing, why you want to candidate in maximum 200 words. And we will have all the candidates and their information made available to all people who can vote. And this will happen between September 19 and 26. So anyone who can vote gets an email and then they can do so electronically. And we will announce the outcome of the election by October the 1st. If you want to vote, anyone who has registered in this conference and has ticked the box being part of the ECN will get this email. If you forgot about this, if you're not sure if you did that, at the registration desk, there is a sheet where you can put in your name, affiliation if you want to, and your email address, and we will see if it's in the list so no one gets 2 links, and then you are inclined to vote, so you can do that. If you have any questions, any issues, anything, you can approach us, as I said, by email, but also talk to us in the event afterwards and of course during the conference. And I'd also be happy to see some of you maybe at the next conference in 2023, or maybe even online in the next couple of weeks, talking about how we can take over the ECN. Thank you.
Okay, hi everybody. My name is Alexia, and together with Claire and Tim, who are also in the audience, I'm a board member of Gewina, which is the Belgian-Dutch Society for the History of Science and Universities. Let's maybe start off with a quick fun historical fact. Gewina was founded in 1913 by two Dutch scholars, namely Evert Cornelis van Leersum and Johan Adriaan Volgraaf. But you can always visit our website if you like to learn more about Gewina, about its rich history, or you can follow us on, for example, Twitter as well. Now, Gewina today brings together around 400 researchers and interested parties in the broad field of the history of knowledge. And twice a year, we organize a meeting in Belgium or in the Netherlands to address a specific theme within the history of science. We also organize like excursions, drinks, webinars, workshops. And as some of you might already know, every 2 years we host the Woudschoten Conference in Zeist for historians of science and universities. And whereas this conference used to focus mainly on low countries, it has developed into an international academic event. And as you know, as you maybe know, the theme of the 9th edition last June was contested expertise dressed in science and technology. Now, besides that, Gewina also publishes two journals. First, we have an international open access, double-blind peer-reviewed journal for the history of knowledge. JHOC, which is devoted to the history of knowledge in its broadest sense. So besides the study of science, we also pay attention to artisanal, indigenous, and other types of knowledge. And we also pay attention to the knowledge developed in the humanities as well as in the social sciences. Next, we have Wonderkamer, which is a Dutch journal for a wider audience, and both JHOC and Wonderkamer, they appear twice a year, and they were launched both in 2020. Now, finally, we also have a blog named Shells and Pebbles, and anyone who is interested in the history of science can contribute a post on any curious, interesting, fascinating topic they come across. So if any one of you is interested in writing such a blog post, you can always contact us. Now, in short, Gewina members, they become part of a very dynamic community. They can participate in all our events. They receive our bilingual newsletter. They also receive every printed issue of Wonderkamer. So yeah, if you are interested, please contact us, and maybe you can become a part of this very nice group of people, I can say. Now, that all said, I think we are looking forward to meeting you all here today, and we're also looking forward to the upcoming conference. Before leaving, and if you've inscribed or registered for the networking event, you will receive a sheet from Tim or Claire. We've included a space on top where you can stick stickers on. You will all get 4 stickers in the same color, and the idea is you don't have to, but it's a fun way to engage with each other. You can exchange stickers, and the goal is by the end of this event, you will have collected all 4 colors. So that way you will also talk to people who you might haven't talked to before. And we also included a bingo sheet that you can fill in during the conference, just a fun way to engage with the conference in a different way. So, okay, that's it. Thank you. I think I'm the last one. So, bon appétit.